Here we go.
Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. Colby, this is the Seattle Seahawks Denver Bronco pregame, and I'm going to start off by explaining what we are and what we're not, because we're going to get people coming to listen to our pregame after the game is over to hear what we said. I'm going to say we are the most accurate Broncos channel year in and year out, no question, hands down. It's one of the reasons why we're hated so much, because we've been brutally honest, and the reason our takes are so accurate. I would like to explain to people that way to define how we get our information, what we base our opinions on and our analysis on. You have a lot of people that are into fantasy football. They'll give you all the numbers and they'll crunch all that for you. And they're really good at fantasy football. Well, what we're really good and what we're really into is, if you are, the counter to that is film. We're big. What people are big with fantasy football, we're big with film. We love film. We watch film, watch film, watch film, watch film, watch film, watch film. So we watch a lot of film, and unfortunately that makes us have to be brutally honest about what we see and what we don't see. So I want to start off by saying I think that the national media has gone into an area that of inaccuracy when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks. We're Broncos fans, but what we do is we watch film, and because of the Wilson acquisition, we have had to watch more Seattle film than we would have ever watched. We watched tons of it. We watched film from last year, prior to Wilson's injury. We watched his backup play. We watched also post-injury. And we watched this preseason too. And so I think by watching the film, I think to say that the Seahawks are this one wins Jets kind of team, hopelessly lost without Russell Wilson, is I think it's a miscalculation. Anybody hitching their wagon to that, I think, is going to be, if you're counting on Seattle to be hopelessly bumbling and stumbling, I think you're going to be disappointed. Okay, I think the Broncos are going to have their hands full in this game. But anyway, I just saying about who we are. We're GM and film centric. We're into team building. We're not into Disney princess quarterbacks, although we do discuss quarterback play when applicable. And we know too, based off of history and what football really is, it's not about Disney princess. It's not strictly about Disney princess quarterbacks. That you need to be fully loaded if you want to be taken for real. So anyway, that's a little intro into this pregame. Is there anything you wanted to add?
No, not really. I think you hit every nail on the head in that point. We are both of my channel and this guy's channel right here. I actually have to say this. The one thing that really frustrates the hell out of me is I understand people have different opinions on this, but the one thing that really pisses me off is they think that you need a Patrick Mahomes and a Josh Allen to start your roster and build it from the quarterback out. That's not how you build successful NFL teams. I have been consistent on this, and I will continue to be consistent on this. This team wasn't built before Russell Wilson got here. They put the cart in front of the horse, and we will get into this a little bit later, but I'm getting really sick and tired of the national media saying that you need a princess quarterback to start your team to win championships. That's absolutely not true, and that's absolutely false. You need to build the core of your football team first. You need to build it from the ground up, not the outside in. That's one of the worst analogies, the outside in, I've ever heard in my time watching football. I am a film junkie. So is this man right here. Me and him are the most accurate GM. We're
Platform.
the platform out there. We are a GM-centric channel. I'm a film junkie, so is this guy right here. I'm a scout. I consider myself a scout. I don't get paid for it, but I consider
You
myself a
should.
scout.
You should.
But that's all I had to say.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest miscalculations has been going on 7 years with the Denver Broncos. I said in the film, I said, John Elway stripped the team. I'm not the only one. Derek Wolfe talked about it. Keith Talib talked about it. Of course,
TJ Ward.
TJ Ward talked about it. And of course, the other platforms, that's what you get there. So 7 years of we're just a quarterback away. We're just a quarterback away. We're just a quarterback away. Now, we know the mismanagement that I see. What I think is Seattle people have no idea. I mean, they say that there was mismanagement on their side, but I don't think I think it pales in comparison to because what you had here was covering it up. Menelik Watts. I mean, just go on and on and on. To just recently moving Browning and getting rid of Kenny Young and being depleted in the middle. We'll get into how I would, if I was Seattle, I would attack the Broncos. We'll also get into how the Broncos, what they need to do to win, in our opinion anyway, based off of Phil. But why don't you talk about why Seattle, this idea that you were just touching on, why Seattle getting rid of Russell Wilson helps them in that building that core out?
Okay, well, I was talking about that in our last video. So if you guys want to go watch it, I've elaborated on it more in that video. But to go off of your point, the one thing that they're going to be able to do is get the players they want to build this team. They're going to start getting the defensive players on the defensive line and front seven and that back end. They're starting to get the offensive line already in order. I really like the acquisitions they've done. They're going to start bringing in players that fit their system that they've been running for years and years and years. And now that the Denver Broncos are in this boat of paying Russell Wilson all this money, and he does have guaranteed money on his contract, that's going to start kicking into his new contract extension here pretty soon. When you give a guy a lot of guaranteed money, you're hamstrung to do a lot of other things. And the Denver Broncos are saying we're just a quarterback away, right? And that's what you were saying. It's really funny to me, and I said this to you yesterday. It's really funny that now they're saying that they're going to be able to bring in the pieces to. I thought you already had the pieces. I thought you.
Well, we were told for 7 years.
Yeah, exactly. For 7 years, you said we were just one position, a quarterback away. We had all the pieces. We had everything we need.
We just need to go out and get that quarterback now and let him know that everything's ready. Everything's ready.
Exactly. And now you're backtracking on what you've been saying for 7 years, and you're saying, well, and this goes to the point that I've been saying since OTAs. They've seen stuff in OTAs that's making them shit their pants, and they're running scared and they're running for the hills. I truly believe that.
Well, why do you think? Why do you think they have to backtrack?
The reason I have to backtrack because they're seeing stuff that the media isn't seeing, and they know. They're not stupid. They think that the Bronco fans are stupid.
Yeah.
They think that the Bronco fans, and it's easy to manipulate them because it is easy. I mean, me and you could do a quarterback video and they get 5.0K views, and most of that would be Broncos country. So I mean, it's easy to manipulate. It's not just the Denver fans. It's the national. It's become so out of control about these Disney princess quarterbacks.
Well, that's how they're marketed. It's Disney princess quarterbacks. Yeah. Now, I want to just touch on Seattle just really quick about how they built that team. And then they got Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson, let's just be clear about this. Russell Wilson wasn't a high, he wasn't coming out as like, we got to get Russell Wilson. Matter of fact, when they got him, everybody was like, what? So this whole idea that you have to have the number one guy coming out of college is bullshit. You got to build the team. And
just look what happened. Just look what happened to Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. When that team, we got Trevor Lawrence, we're going to go to the playoffs, la-di-da-di-da-di-da, and look what happened. They got him killed. because they had him throw it 50 plus times in the first game of the season and going forward. That's
Yeah.
mismanagement right there.
Yeah, well, they except for when they played the Broncos D line couldn't.
That is true. That is true.
Jeez. Anyway, yeah, we showed the film. We showed film on that, but don't pay attention to that. So it makes your point. It makes your point. Nobody was high on Russell Wilson, but
No.
he fit really good with that system. And I think moving forward, I think my opinion, if Russell Wilson had gone to the Colts instead of the Broncos, I think he'd have a chance of extending that career on as a pocket passing quarterback, because the Colts are building. They have they got the guru of offensive line coaches, the god himself from the Patriots, back all of Brady's, and even going back to, I believe, Bledsoe, the success of that, and they understand that Ryan is going to be Matt Ryan is going to be a benefactor of that. But this team, you're right, this team in no way was ready to bring in a run. They're again, the front office is a legend in their own mind. We're doing so great, when it's like, no, you're a mess, because you think, you kept this idea that you're a quarterback away instead of what we're saying, build. And even the people that are now running their mouths, Mark Slara, we're going to take the AFC West, even he got it, but then had to shut his mouth. So it's going to manifest itself, and it's going to start manifesting itself week 1.
I agree.
So shall we get into this game?
Let's do it.
Okay. So number one, just the overall, the Broncos are going to have a tiger by their tail, I believe. There's been so much bullshit put out about the Broncos going to come in here and kick ass. And then I think also compounded the fact that the player personnel in Seattle has heard nothing. It's just the opposite of the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos should be hearing this from everybody, but they're about how hopeless their roster is and how, old Carroll is, and one thing or another. But we look at the film and we see, some really solid pieces here when you compare it to the Broncos. And I think that is not to underestimate this defense, especially if you're the Broncos. Don't underestimate this defense. And we'll hear, but Russell Wilson knows this defense. Well, that's true. But this defense knows Russell Wilson too. It goes both ways. So that's going to be an interesting factor. The Denver Bronco defense, man. Rich Eisen, I agree with him. He had his DMAC idiot counterpart. Broncos from the East Coast. Broncos are going to go in there and it's going to mop them up. And Rich Eisen said, what? Seattle's going to bust holes. And they're going to bust holes with this new and improved offensive line. We were watching them in preseason. The first thing I do is start busting holes in this deep Bronco defense and running the ball. They have running backs too, by the way, Broncos. Not just you guys. They actually have running backs. So from an offensive standpoint for the Seattle Seahawks, I would definitely bust holes up. I know the middle of the field's going to be open. I'm going to have Fant Feast in that linebacking area without a doubt. Kwan Williams, I don't even know if he's playing, and even if he is, I'm going to probably go in that area. And if he's not, I've seen the depth; it's not very good. And I think we're just going to see a continuation in the passing game anyway, with Justin Simmons' side of the field. But Surtain is over there too, and he's not going to get help over the top. They never do from Simmons. If you're going to I don't think you're going to see the Russell Wilson receiver running the boundary. I think what you're going to see is maybe a boundary and then a hook or something like that. And that's where Surtain struggles a bit. So I don't see the Seattle offense really having too much difficulty with this Bronco defense, number one. And I think the big thing too with the Broncos going against them on their offensive side of the ball is the fact that they haven't played anything. They haven't had any reps at all other than practice and maybe some with the Dallas. That's it. They're behind the eight ball. The stars have been getting reps in Seattle. And not only that, they're not running a new system. They've been running this system for a while. They're very well familiar with what they need to do. So I don't know. Go ahead and give me your overall take here.
Well, I will speak about the offense first for both sides. Number one, I'm going to talk about the Denver Broncos first because just to be fair to people. But this offensive line for the Denver Broncos isn't anything special. It's the same offensive line from last year outside of the right tackle position with Billy Turner, who's had injury problems throughout training camp, like I predicted. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that Billy Turner is starting to have an injury history. You should have signed him 3 years ago, but don't listen to me.
It's just that one. We just get that one. It's just that one player.
Okay. Greg Dulcich. I know. I don't pay attention to those types of people. Yeah, I don't pay attention to that crap. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Drops a Doodle Doo, Judy, and KJ Hamler. I'm really curious to see what they do with KJ Hamler in this game. I really want to see how they utilize him because out of all the two draft picks, I'm higher on KJ Hamler than Jerry Drops a Doodle Doo, Judy. But that being said, this offense for the Denver Broncos, man, it's I would be concerned just due to the fact that, like this man said, you didn't have any reps in the preseason. You didn't go one or two series. You didn't even against the Vikings. If you really didn't want to show your hand against the Bills, you could have done it with the Cowboys or the Vikings. It doesn't really matter to me. I just wanted to see some semblance of, some semblance of some starters playing. And at the end of the day, with the Broncos offense, this is a completely new type of offense. You're mismeshing systems. I think what you're going to see, and me and you've been saying this for months ever since we got Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson likes to throw the ball deep a lot. I think you're going to get we called it bombs away Teddy. I think it's going to be bombs away Wilson. I think you're going to see the Mike McCoy. What you'll start with the West Coast zone running scheme supposedly, but then they're going to start integrating the 6 wide receiver sets, Mike McCoy, Pat Shurmur-esque for the Broncos offense. So I don't know. I don't really see much from this Broncos offense outside of the fact that I want to see how they use Javonte. I want to see how they use Melvin Gordon to some capacity, and I also want to see how they use KJ Hamler. And I also want to see how they use the tight ends too, Alberto and Greg Dulcich. What a great draft pick. He's out for 1 to 4 weeks on the injury, the IR. I mean, what a great draft pick. This draft has been so good job, George Payton. Good job.
They've been mum about that, haven't they?
Absolutely.
I want to see this offensive line and how they're utilizing the offensive line.
Yep. But again, I completely agree with you. That's my number one thing. But again, I've seen this play out for 7 years now. Guys, it's the same offensive line from last year outside of Billy Turner.
Top 5. I would say probably top 5.
You know what I would do if I'm Seattle? Just put Shelby Harris on Lloyd Cushenberry and have him feast because it's not going to be hard to push that guy back at all.
Mm-mm. No.
And to go to your point with this offensive line, I think they're going to get a lot of help from the refs in this game too. And I think this is going to go for Denver in general. I think they're going to get a lot of help from these refs. And I think that's going to play out throughout the season. I truly believe that.
They're going to get home cooking.
Absolutely. They're going to get help. They're going to get help. Are you kidding me? We got Russell Wilson. We got to help him out.
Yeah. Well, I hope that I don't want to see that. I want to see.
You will.
I want to see dominance. I don't want to see reps. I want to see dominance. But you're not with this. There's no way this team is dominant. But I just hope the Seahawks don't help them out in that capacity because
that's true.
Yeah, because
I I will give Nathaniel Hackett this, and this is something me and you've talked about. He has his teams ready to play. He does. He does. I have to give him that. Throughout the preseason, we've seen that his teams come out. They don't get penalties as often. They're actually ready to play. I will give Nathaniel Hackett that. We got to be fair with that assessment that he has his teams ready to play. So I will give him that. He might have
Yeah.
his team ready to play, but again, what have we seen through? We saw it with the Cowboys training camp. I didn't need to be at the training camp with the Denver Broncos to see, oh wow, the Denver Broncos started off well, but look what happened when the Cowboys clamped down on the Broncos. You're going to get that on this coming Monday on the 12th. I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see the Broncos start out fast, and then that's going to get everyone excited, and I think Seattle's going to clamp down on the Denver Broncos.
Well, I think if I was the Broncos, what I would do, and I don't know if they would do this, but I would maybe in the very beginning, maybe you can throw a couple times, but I would really start committing to a running mentality.
I agree with that.
Just for the fact you haven't had reps. This is the first time the offensive unit is going to be even out on the field, really.
Do you see a lot of with the running game go off of that point? Do you think you're going to see a lot of quick passes from the Denver Broncos, because we've seen that throughout the preseason?
Well, that's what I would expect too. I would expect to limit this, not get right into bombs away Wilson.
Yeah.
Maybe in the beginning, okay, your very first play you could throw a bomb, but it better be quick, because I don't think you're going to get time on this offensive line, number one. So you're going to have to, like you said, you utilize KJ Hamler in these tight ends more so than Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. I think the receivers will actually have to kind of have more of a backseat role to some of these. The edge receivers.
I don't think you're going to get consistent protection from this offensive line. I think you'll get protection here and there, but consistently throughout the game, I don't think it's going to work out for the Denver Broncos.
I wouldn't underestimate this defense at all. If I was the Broncos, I wouldn't underestimate them.
No, I completely agree with you. So I just wanted to segue into the Seattle, because you talked about it and I wanted to talk about it more. A lot of people like to shit on Geno Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know this guy is Teddy Bridgewater 2.0 in some capacity. I mean, this guy utilizes the middle of the field, and we talked about Russell Wilson when we were doing film reviews. Russell Wilson struggles mightily throwing in the middle of the field. He likes to throw outside the numbers. So if you're expecting a
outside the hash,
I do out. Yeah, exactly. Yep. But at the end of the day, Geno Smith is, and I think Noah Fant's going to feast. I think if you want to talk about fantasy, you start Noah Fant against this defense. You want to talk about fantasy football, I would start.
Yeah,
Noah
I mean,
Fant,
if they don't,
because that guy's going to feast all day.
If that offensive coordinator hasn't figured that out, he should be fired for Seattle right off the bat.
I completely agree with you, and I think that these receivers are going to give a lot of fits to this Broncos defense, like DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Dwayne Eskridge. Those guys aren't scrubs. They're a better receiving core than what we have in Denver. So
absolutely.
And those guys are able to get to the second level consistently. I would put Tyler. If I was the offense coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, I would put Tyler Lockett on Patrick Surtain, and I would put DK Metcalf on Ronald Darby. And the reason I say that is, size for size, Patrick Surtain can meet that with DK Metcalf. But speed and out of his breaks quickly, Patrick Surtain can't meet up with a guy like Tyler Lockett, who uses a lot of the underneath routes to his advantage and uses a lot of missed tackles to his advantage. Just like I said with Sammy Watkins last year on Patrick Surtain, you're going to get that type of stuff, I believe, from Tyler Lockett, who's a better overall receiver than Sammy Watkins, who has better consistency to his game. But if I was the Seattle Seahawks, this is what I would do. And for people shitting on their offensive line, I mean, the national media guys, seriously, Charles Cross. Oh, I wanted Charles Cross, ladies and gentlemen, and look how he's playing. He's fucking looking like an all-pro left tackle, pass protector, guy from Mississippi State. Austin Beeline, the center. What a really good addition. This offensive line has been revamped, okay? This is what I would do. I'd run it right down Denver's throats. That's what I would do in this game. Run it right down Denver's throat, play action, pass off of that, stay in the pocket, throw it to Noah Fant in the middle of the field, do a lot of hook routes. I think what we're saying about Denver, you're going to see that with Seattle. I would run the football right down, and this is what Rich Eisen said, run the football down their throat. That's what I would do. If the offense coordinator doesn't do that, he should be fired immediately.
Immediately.
There's no way
pack your bags, just leave the stadium, get on the plane. You're out of here.
No way you should be having Geno Smith throw it more than 25 times in this game. There's no way in hell you should have Geno Smith throw it 25 plus times this game. You should run the football down Denver's throat. The Bills did it, the Vikings did it, and the Cowboys did it. Take a lesson, and it's not hard to open holes on this defense. I mean, you're going to be running right at Josie Jewell and Jonas Griffith. You're going to be running at Draymond Jones and DJ Jones.
Well, does Griffith, is he back on it, or did they that elbow?
I haven't heard anything about that. So maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. But is he going to be 100%? That's going to be exactly. So This is what I do. I just punish him in the trenches. I would just punish him in the trenches. Run the ball. Go old school football. And just play action pass off of that and throw it to
like we saw how they handled Pittsburgh's their number one defense. I want to talk about Lockett really quick. You mentioned Lockett. If I was going to play Lockett against Surtain, this is what I would do. I'd have him run up the sideline, which is Surtain's strength, and then I have him cut, knowing that Justin Simmons is going to give at least 20-yard cushion. There's that pass, I'm telling you, Justin Simmons ain't going to intercept it because he's 20 yards. He's off at least 20 yards. Yep. I'd have like a hook route, right? You just run up the seam and hook it right into the center, or right in the middle of the field right there. And that ball should be there right after he makes it, right as he makes his turn. That ball should be right there. And he'll probably get another 10 yards based off of Justin Simmons playing, 20 yards off. Because we know Surtain he doesn't have the hip, like you said, fluidity to stay with his guy once he makes that cut inside.
That's exactly why I would have Tyler Lockett on Patrick Surtain. That's exactly
Well, it's not just Surtain, it's also Justin Simmons, because Justin Simmons cannot help his guy over the top.
I mean, I don't expect much from Justin Simmons as a game. The Seahawks have a better safety, and I'll get into that in Jamal Adams and Justin Simmons. So again, the reason I don't mention
but I'm just saying, as an offensive coordinator, you use Justin Simmons' lack of playability to your advantage.
Yeah.
All that cushion he gives there. I mean, Manning would have destroyed Justin Simmons because he thrived off that, playing that spatial football.
I completely agree with you. I mean, and also let's not shit on this offensive line either for Seattle here. I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, you think that we're going to go in there with Draymond Jones and DJ Jones and Gregory and Chubb? I mean, I like DJ Jones. I like DJ Jones and I like Bradley Chubb. But my God, you think Charles Cross? I mean, look, I did film review of Randy Gregory when we signed him. Is
Randy Gregory even going to play?
He probably will, because they're going to force him to play. Because they don't. Again, Baron Browning, what has he shown in this preseason playing outside linebacker? He hasn't shown shit. But again, DJ Jones is going to get double teamed. Draymond, you can just single team him. He ain't going to do jack shit. And then on top of that, I showed when we got Randy Gregory, him going against a rookie left tackle and Christian Darrisaw. I wanted him too. I wanted Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. Everyone laughed at my fucking face and shit. And I wanted Charles Cross from Mississippi State because I knew there was no way in hell that we could get Evan Neal from Alabama, the best prospect in this draft. I had such bigger grade on him than even fucking Aiden Hutchinson and the guy that went first, Trevon Walker. But my God, dude.
Cross has been a very pleasant surprise for Seattle. They've been very happy with his production.
Exactly, and I'm not surprised by his success because I knew what he was capable of doing coming into the National Football League.
So yeah, they are definitely revamped, without
Yeah.
a doubt.
Gabe Jackson, Damian Lewis, Austin Beeline, right tackle. I mean, it's still a question mark, but that interior, dude, I just run straight up the middle on this defense. I just run straight up the middle because dude, I've been hearing that they want to put DJ Jones at nose tackle.
Well, you'll get a bird's eye view of that.
And then they're going to bury him.
Here's another thing too. If they lose this game, you can see their deck chairs are going to be moved. Oh, let's put him there and there, trying to figure it out. Well, at least you'll have the Texans.
All right. I mean, say what you want about the Texans. I'm just letting you know right now they're just like, yeah, laugh like you did last year when we went against the Raiders and we got slobbered.
Well, shit, they struggled with the Jags.
Yeah, and the Giants.
No, they're just going to walk right into Seattle, right?
Well, against that defense, I don't think so because
we'll talk about the defense. What do you see? How do you see them playing? How do you see them playing the Broncos?
Fast.
Yes. This was a very fast defense.
This is a fast defense that's a very good tackling unit.
Now, is there anything Russell Wilson can take advantage of that speed?
Quick. I would say this. If they get the running game going with the Denver Broncos, they could take a lot. They could suck the defense up, and then you can have KJ Hamler run a post route. You can have, you can use them in multiple ways.
Albert O. You could get him in the middle
Albert O too. Yep,
that's what I was thinking too.
You can even have, if Jerry Jeudy, you can have him kind of be that joker, and then you can have KJ Hamler. You can use them in creative ways if you get that running game going. If you don't get that running game going, I don't see the Broncos offense really doing much of anything because I believe the strength of that offense is that running game. I don't believe it's Russell Wilson throwing it 30 plus times because
I even think some of the Kool-Aid country would agree with that too.
And we, Pete, we can agree to disagree on that. I believe that the strength of that offense is the running game with Javonte and Melvin Gordon. I'm telling you right now, if this whole thing with Javonte, you guys better use him correctly. I do not want to see I don't want to see halfback tosses with fucking Javonte. If I see that once with Javonte Williams, I'm gonna be pissed. You do not need to do a halfback toss with Javonte Williams because he's not that type of running back. You can do that with Gordon or you can use that with Boone. If I was the offensive coordinator, you know what I would do? I would have Mike Boone. I'd have two running back sets with Gordon and Boone and have them run Texas routes or have them run wheel routes. Okay? I would be creative in that. But my God, if I see one halfback toss with Javonte fucking Williams, that dude, Hackett should be ashamed of himself because he's not that type of a running back. And I'm sorry I'm getting pissed off because I believe we're going to see some of that. This mismanaged bullshit.
It's every year, people. It's every friggin' year. Because
I like Javonte. I've been wrong on him, and I want to see him grow. I was wrong on Javonte Williams. I'm not here to, people like to say I'm afraid to say when I'm wrong. No, I've been saying I was wrong on Javonte for months, and I want to see him get better. Do not do a halfback toss with Javonte. Please, for the love of God, don't do that. Because I don't want to see that. What is that going to accomplish?
Power gap, straightforward running.
Yeah, or go in between the tackles and the A and B gaps.
Yeah.
Have him do what he does best is wear the defense down. Don't go into this game saying, well, we're going to do what John Elway told us to do, and we're going to throw it 50-plus times in this game because you know what that's going to do? That's going to open up a lot of opportunities for Seattle's defense. You don't think Jamal Adams is going to be fucking trying to kick someone's ass? Jamal Adams? I showed a film review on Jamal Adams before my channel got taken down of him coming down into the box, going in and blasting a freaking blocker, knocks him on his ass, and was able to still wrap up and tackle. You guys better look for Jamal Adams in this game. He's going to be all over the place. Unlike the guy on the other side, Justin Tony Lily Simmons, who's going to be hiding most of the game.
Yeah, 20 yards back. It's okay. I'm 20 yards back. Just making sure. Just, then taking a bad angle. And then Hard Knocks shows them, they erupt because backup's backup.
Dude, that clip, I was like, whoo. Wow.
Can I ask you
Wow.
just something? This is the Detroit Lions, but can I just ask you something about that? You had 17 games. You had all these plays you could have picked. Why did you pick the one guy, Justin Simmons?
Because he sucks.
Yeah, it's just like he's targeted. I mean, it makes the point that he's targeted. He's targeted.
I know. And at the end of the day, to get back to the Seattle game, I mean, you have Jordan Brooks, who's a linebacker from Texas Tech, who's a very good off-ball linebacker. You have Darrell Taylor from Colorado, who they are going to use him for an edge. And I believe we had a commenter that said they were going to a 3-4 type defense, and I believe that to be so. They're going to that 3-4 defense. They got Al Woods, who, yeah, he isn't the same player, but he's able to eat up 2 blockers. You're going to have Shelby Harris one-on-one against people. I mean, dude, I wouldn't be They have Sidney Jones, the corner. Dude, I'm telling you right now, this defense, with all the rookies they have on it, I completely agree with people saying that. But, dude, that defense is really fast. They have second.
I would not be sleeping on that defense.
No,
I wouldn't. A Bronco fan, we're gonna go in there like you did with the Raiders. Okay.
I believe that the Seattle Seahawks have a more deeper 53-man roster than the Denver Broncos.
Yes, the film clearly shows that. And
they're going to be able to rotate people in and out. The Denver Broncos, you're going to be able to rotate Draymond Jones in for McKelvin Ajim. You're going to be able to rotate. What are you going to do with DJ? You're going to have Mike Purcell come in? I mean, oh my God. I mean, why the hell would you have DJ Jones at nose tackle? It makes no sense.
That's what they do in Denver. They don't make sense. Why would you move Baron Browning, and why would you get rid of Kenny?
I know.
Why would you do that?
And the reason why we're still on that train is because it's just glaringly obvious how bad the middle is still without those two. I mean, it's obvious.
Like I said, if that offensive coordinator doesn't exploit that Denver Bronco weak middle, fire him.
Know what another guy I'm looking forward to? 2 more other guys. Dwayne Eskridge in the slot against Quan Williams, if he even plays. I would have him attack. You have Noah Fant and Dwayne Eskridge attack the middle of that defense. I would go right at Jewell. I'll go right at even Jonas Griffith, because I don't think he's going to be 100%. And I like Jonas Griffith. I'll go right at Quan Williams. And Travis Homer, the running back. I mean, that's their Mike Boone. And they use him in a way that is creative. So just keep an eye on those guys, please.
Well, that's what Iverson said.
Travis Homer.
Eisen said.
Travis Homer, the running back.
Yeah, they're running backs.
Rashad Penny. Penny. Yeah, they got a good running back room that they use creatively. So
just unleash them.
If I had to pick who wins this game, I think Denver will win this game. I think they're going to get help from the refs. This is my opinion. This is what I'm going to say. I'm not saying Denver's going to go in and blow them out, but this is going to be a closer game than people expect. But for the obvious outcome, I'm going to pick Denver for a slight edge over Seattle. I think that Denver
in this game.
You have Seattle in this game?
I have Seattle in this game. Same thing.
I have Denver in a close game with the help from the refs late in the game.
I have Seattle winning this game because I just don't see the Broncos being able to get on track enough to win it.
That's fair. I
see a close game.
I do.
But I see this being dominated really by the Seahawks overall.
Yeah, I would say dominated by the Seahawks in the trenches.
Yeah, yes.
What
I mean is I don't see Denver getting on track, really. I don't see them being able to really get gear.
Going. So what you're saying?
A lot of sporadic. I think. A lot of sporadic stuff.
I could see that.
I see more consistency coming in this game on Seattle's part. Close game. Seattle more consistent. Denver more sporadic. That's kind of how I see it.
No. I completely agree with you. I could see this game kind of being like the Browns from last year, where they just ran it down our throats, and it was a dominating fashion in terms of trench play.
It all depends on Seattle if they play their cards right.
And that's true. But the reason I have Denver winning is because I think they're going to get help from the refs late in the game. I think it's going to be a close game going in late into this game.
And they get that one call that helps.
They get that one call. Yep. That one call out of nowhere.
That PI.
That helps them get over that. Yeah, that helps them get over that finish line.
Yeah, that PI. Give us that PI or that holding.
I that's a good point from you. No, that's a good point from you, though, about them coming out inconsistent. I completely agree with you on that. I don't think they're going to come out with that engine running fully correctly. I think they're going to come out sporadically. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
So, yeah, but I see a Seahawk win.
And Seahawks have a better special teams than Denver. So just saying, and that's due to the 53-man roster, not the first and second string. So.
Yeah, they seem to be a not so stumbling secondaries in preseason, but we'll have to see.
See how that manifests.
What's that?
We'll see how that manifests throughout.
How that manifests in the season. Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
That's it for me.
That's it for me, too. I'm just trying to think, is there anything I'm not getting? How we have the running game, we discussed that. I just hope that if the Broncos think they're going to, it's going to be a pass fest, I think then it's going to be a long game for them.
If they have Russell Wilson throwing it 30-plus times this game,
they are going to beat the refs.
Yeah. Yep. I just don't. I wouldn't sleep on certain players I mentioned. I mean, seriously, this isn't going to be, this isn't going to be the Detroit Lions JV squad, and even that we had a hard time.
That's what I'm saying. We just don't have the player personnel, and
I agree.
And the way I see it is, with Denver being sporadic, and then everything that goes right for Seattle, that place, that sideline of theirs, that team is going to just erupt. Every single play.
I agree.
It's going to be a hostile environment.
I think that's going to be for every game. Just FYI, every game they face.
Oh, yeah. Well, now that everybody's run their mouth.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, they already were kicking our ass last year. Now it's going to be, and they were just, we got Denver on the schedule. So what? Big deal. Now they're going to be hopped up.
I agree
with all that mouth running going on.
I agree.
Talk about throwing stones from a glass house, man. Wow.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah. Well, I will be able to see it. And
awesome.
we will be able to discuss it afterwards.
Good for you. I will. I'll be in a different place next week, so
I'll be in a better place.
Yeah, I'll be in a better place. I'll be out of this place, so out of this house. So.
All right. Out of your mother's basement. You're moving out of your basement.
Yeah, moving out of my mother's basement.
There you go. It's funny how the mother's basement, the couple of guys in their mother's basement seem to get it right every single time. Yeah. I think it's funny.
Just buyer beware, people. Buyer beware.
Buyer beware. Absolutely.
I mean, dude, there's me and you've got into contact with some Seattle fans, and just keep an eye out on those fat trench play this week. I think it's going to be an ass whooping. I think it's going to be you're going to see one team that has its shit together in terms of offense and defense, a line play, and then you're going to look at Denver's. You're going to be like, we're good enough.
Yeah, it's the good enough. Yeah, it's the good enough.
The top three now. Top three, not top
five.
Now
it's top three. That's right. Yeah. Now it's top three.
Yeah,
Russell Wilson brought it up a couple times.
Top 3 in every paid category with his new contract extension.
Well,
Top 3.
when you listen to these idiots, they'll tell you the quarterbacks, they're the ones that they help the offensive line out so much. It's not the other way around. It's the quarterback helps
The
out.
offensive line. Okay, so you're telling me that the quarterback helps the offensive line so much. Okay, hold on. Are you serious?
Are they serious?
Are you fucking kidding? Dude, this is ridiculous. Look at the Bills. Look at the Eagles. Look at the Buccaneers. I mean, even look when Peyton
look
Manning
at the
came
Patriots
to Denver,
when they had Tom Brady.
Well, even look when Peyton Manning came to Denver in 2012. I mean, it is. And look, even everybody wants to shit on Kyle Lorton, and everyone wants to shit on Tebow. You want to talk about a guy that ran around with his chicken with his head cut off in the backfield, Tebow. Who gave Tebow all the time in the fucking world to throw that football when he wanted to?
That offensive line was really getting into their prime at that time.
I know. And again, they just tore it all up towards the end. I mean, you had Clady, you had Clady, you had Zane Beatles, you had Dan Copen and J.D. Walton as your centers. You even had Luis Vasquez, and at the time was the best guard in football. And then you had Orlando Franklin and Ryan Clark as your tackles.
Those days are gone.
I know.
For all the crap that they gave Josh McDaniels,
he knew how to build an offensive line.
And guess where he went? He went to the Raiders. So,
all right, laugh at the Raiders. Laugh at them because you went 1-5 in your division last year.
There's a reason.
0-2 against the Raiders, 0-2 against the Chiefs, 1-1 with the Chargers.
There's a reason.
Just saying.
There's a reason, and it was beyond the quarterback.
I want to ask you this before we leave. We and you haven't. You brought it up at the beginning, but doesn't it feel like this roster's gotten worse from last year?
Oh yeah. Well, benching, basically what you did is you benched Browning.
I know.
From being a starter, you cut off the.
You got rid of Callahan.
You cut off the development. You got rid of Kenny Young. You cut off that development for the other linebacker there that's injured.
Jonas Griffith.
Yeah. And you just keep going on and on. Receivers, well, you got rid of a guy that could replace Judy if Judy continues to get ghosted.
You have Nate Moody on the practice squad.
Your running back core,
joke.
The only thing that's, like you said, the running back core is intact.
Are they going to use them correctly?
You haven't done anything with your offensive line since the days we're talking about.
You switched out a right tackle for another one. Again.
Yeah.
For the 4th straight year in a row.
Your linebacking core is depleted because you keep sending them to the edge all the time. Your safety is overrated in Justin Simmons. You got another safety that's aging, but I think better than Justin Simmons, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think he's lost a step, but he's still better.
I mean, you did good getting Darby, but what is this going to be Darby's last year here? Maybe.
Yeah, it will be. We all know.
That's what I'm thinking
too.
Get rid
of good players.
I'm thinking the same thing too.
This is his last year.
I have a feeling though that we're going to get a ringside seat on this defense. I don't, like I said, I don't even know if the refs honestly will be able to help this team. But I got a Seattle win. I see them just basically not losing control of this game. I
want to make another Nebraska Cornhusker reference because they suck so bad. But I believe what you're going to see is, okay, so what do we see from Nebraska? Oh, quarterback, Casey Thompson. Oh my God, these receivers. Oh my God. What did they do? What did Scott Frost do in that game? He did an onside kick in the 3rd quarter when they were up 2 touchdowns. In the 3rd quarter, they did an onside kick. Now this is going to go to my point with your Seattle point. Seattle is like Northwestern. They aren't flashy. They don't have, they're not, no, everyone shits on them, but they do not beat themselves. And I could see Seattle's like, just wait. Denver's going to beat themselves. And then Seattle's going to take control of that game with the running game and being very safe in this game. And I think that could possibly help Seattle win this game with the Denver Broncos beating themselves. And I can see that because they always do it every fucking year, just like Nebraska.
I just have to say the key for the Broncos, the biggest key for Broncos to win isn't even Russell Wilson. And I think it's going to have to be the running game. That has to be the key.
Well, they're going to abandon it. They did it last year under Shermer.
Yeah. If they abandon it or if it's hot and cold, yeah, I just don't see it going the Bronco way unless divine intervention from black and white stripes.
We'll see. I mean, whew.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this game, though. Should be
about time, yeah. Because I'm sick and tired of hearing all the BS. I want to take a look at.
I'm sick and tired of hearing the excuses. I'm sick of the bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what you don't get. You're not going to get bullshit here. So I'm not gonna. I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with these national people saying that they're so-called analysts and they don't.
Well, and I was going to say this at the beginning. The more I study film, the more I really look at things. I realize how much they don't know.
Oh, I know.
I look at PFF. I realize how much they don't know. And I was in a conversation with my daughter about education. I said they actually, and I'm not the first person to say this. It's almost as if our education system is to turn people off from learning, from researching, from wanting to know, being a critical thinking minded person. And all they do, like Rockefeller, they just need worker drones, who after work are just into self-pleasure, whatever that is, whatever that may be. So people, they want quick answers. So you got, the national and 8 platforms giving them feel-good quick answers. And since we turn them off and we just are strictly looking at film, that's why we speak an alien language too. I mean, they interpret it as hate when all it is just straightforward analysis. That's all it is.
Well, this applies to the Denver Broncos. They don't want to, like you said, under Pat Bowlen, roll up their sleeves and do the hard work that is necessary to be a legacy and a dominating franchise. They'd rather do for the quick Band-Aid fixes a la Elway. They'd rather just put the stuff in the dam and not help it leak, but they just don't want to rebuild the dam. They would rather just go get Russell Wilson, pay him this extension that, quite frankly, what did he do to get that extension? I mean, what did he do? He hasn't played it down for Denver, and they gave him all the. But you know what? Like we said, we got ahead of it, and they're trying to get ahead of it too. So we all know what's going to happen here. And I believe the more and more you talk about this, I'm in the middle with this game. But the more and more you're talking to me about this, I'm kind of leaning towards the Seattle side just due to this fact and this fact alone is. I don't think Seattle's going to beat themselves. I think it's going to be very hard for, like you said, the refs to call this game because I think Denver's going to find ways to beat themselves in this game. And like you said, the one thing that stood out to me is offense hasn't, and even the defense too hasn't really played much series at all. The first string for the Denver Broncos. So, and if we lose this game, I do not want to hear from the no excuse crowd that we didn't play our starters in the preseason. I don't want to hear that shit. No more excuses from you people. I'm done with the bullshit.
Yeah, excuse time is over.
It's over.
Absolutely. Excuse time is over.
No
excuses.
Done with it.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for me.
You got it. All right. We will
take care.
Talk to you after the game.
Yep. Take care.
You too.